Good morning, Party Chat Sports. Welcome back to the channel. It's one of your hosts, Caleb Gill. I am back with you this morning after another slate of NFL football is now wrapped up in the books. I'm recording this as the Cowboys-Vikings game is going on. It's currently 20-17 in the third quarter, so we'll see how that game progresses. We do have more football to talk about, though. This morning, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm not going to really recap this week. There was a lot of duds this week, and I think there's a lot more important things to focus on. And I know we're going to talk a lot of playoff stuff, but I think naturally the way this episode is going to progress for you this morning is we're going to talk a little bit of playoffs, and in those conversations we'll talk about those games from week 15. So with that being said, let's get right into your week 15 Monday morning drive. All right, so I mentioned for today's Monday morning drive being a little bit differently. We're going to look at the playoff machine today. We are going to look through this. We're going to make predictions on games moving forward. We're going to discuss some of these games from week 15. But I just thought looking at the playoff machine, messing around with this would be a fun way to go about your drive this morning. So, I mean, just to recap some of these games from week 15. Falcons upset the Bucs. That was huge for the NFC South. And yes, the Bucs are still sitting there in that fourth seed, but the Panthers are right up on their tails. Now, what really messed up the Panthers is them not catching the win against the Saints. The Saints got the game-winning kick against them. It was a 20-17 win, I believe. Yeah, 20-17 win for the Saints over the Bucs, who they're just NFC South beaters, man. And because of that, I mean, yes, the Bucs and the Panthers are tied at 7-7 apiece, but Buccaneers own the tiebreakers, and that's going to be really hard. I was messing around with this a little bit. It's not impossible for the Panthers to make the playoffs, but they really needed to get that win against the Saints today to pretty much own their own destiny or control their own destiny for the NFC South. Now that's really not the case. The Bills, man, what a game that was. They were down 21 points against the Patriots in Foxborough. I was getting texts from the group chat like, dang, Gill, RIP, Patriots. Excuse me, Dynasty's back. And what did the Bills do? They go on. They scored 35 of the next, 35-10 is what they outscored them, with 28 of those points coming in the second half for the Bills against the Patriots. And the Patriots were only able to have one fourth quarter touchdown. That was it for them in the second half. Because of that, I mean, yeah, the Patriots are still sitting pretty there in the AFC East. It breaks my heart, man. And we'll see. We'll mess around with this and see, what it might take for the Patriots to be the 6th seed as opposed to the 2nd or 3rd, or not the AFC East champ. What's it going to take for the Bills? The Ravens getting a big win for them over the Bengals. They needed that in the AFC South picture. The Jaguars, they took care of business against the Jets. They're going to roll through and clinch the AFC South, I think. The big storyline today, Chargers take down the Chiefs. Chiefs eliminated from the playoffs, and if things can't get any worse for Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL. Right as it looked like he was possibly going to lead a fourth quarter drive. He needed that drive. If the Chiefs didn't get a touchdown, they were going to lose. And I mean, they could have gotten a field goal tie, but it was right before the drive. Gardner Minshew comes in, he throws a pick. Oh, man, Patrick Mahomes, ACL tear for him is rough, and the Chiefs have had a tough time. That Super Bowl hangover for them has been legit. I know they lost, but being in the Super Bowl last year, that hangover is real for the Chiefs. And the Chargers, they're not going to win the AFC West, but they should definitely be able to make the playoffs. The Broncos, I think the Broncos clinched today. I believe the Broncos clinched the playoffs. They're 12-2. They're sitting at first place in the AFC. Texans with a big win. They're right up on the Jaguars' tail. We'll see if they're able to catch them at all. I think it's going to be hard for them too. The Bears at 10-2, they're in the 2nd seed. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of things that can change, and we're going to go through that. Commanders game really didn't mean anything over the Giants, though it's good for the draft positioning. The Eagles had a much-needed win for them. Seahawks, they barely beat the Phillip Rivers-led Colts. The Seahawks offense just not that good today. 18 points for them offensively. Broncos, again, they get a much-needed win against the Packers. 49ers with a good win. Rams, huge win for them over the Lions, and the Lions are hanging on by a thread. As of right now, the Cowboys are up 23-17, so I think the Cowboys are going to win ultimately, and then I think the Steelers are going to win tomorrow. So let's look ahead to Week 16. So you're looking at these matchups for Week 16, and I'm just going to go through. All right, I think Rams beat the Seahawks, Eagles beat the Commanders. We'll come back to that game. The Saints over the Jets, Bills over the Browns, Chiefs over the Titans, doesn't really matter. Vikings over Giants, probably doesn't matter. 49ers over Colts. I don't think the Colts get another win the rest of the year. Patriots are the better team. They should be able to get the dub over the Ravens. Lions over the Steelers. Texans over the Raiders. Falcons. This is going to be a really, really good game, I think. Bengals over the Dolphins, and this game could, because I believe these two teams play again Week 18, right? So let's say the Bucks win Week 16. Week 16. Okay, so a couple of the games that haven't been decided yet. I think the Bears do beat the Packers. They could have done it a couple weeks ago, and we'll talk more about that later on in the pod. I think the Bears do end up beating the Packers. The Chargers get the win over the Cowboys. In Denver. Give me the Broncos over the Jaguars. So right now, if all this stays true, and I am correct, which I almost always possibly am occasionally, Broncos are the 1, Patriots in the 2, Texans have the 3rd seed because the Jaguars lost, so that's huge for the AFC South. The Jaguars need that win. The Steelers in the 4 seed, and then they would host the Chargers in the 5. Texans would host the Bills in the 6, and the Patriots would host the Jaguars in the 7th seed. That would some really good playoff matchups. And then on the NFC side, Rams are your 1 seed. I think they're going to end up being the 1 seed. They're going to, I don't know if I don't see a scenario. I mean, it's possible, but Rams are going to be your 1. Bears at the 2 seed, and in this current matchup, they would play the Packers again, with Packers being the 7th seed. The Eagles are the 3rd seed hosting the 6th seed. Seahawks, the Bucks are the 4th seed hosting the 5th seed Niners. 3 NFC West teams making the playoffs right now. Now let's look ahead to Week 17. Packers over the Commanders. Vikings lose to the Lions. Broncos over the Chiefs. Chiefs are done. We'll come back to that. Texans, Chargers. Give me... Ravens really going to need this. Give me Ravens over Packers. See what that does? That knocks the Packers out, actually, with the Lions catching that win. Steelers over the Browns. Patriots over Jets. Saints over Titans. Rams over Falcons. 49ers over Bears. Bills over Eagles. Giants, Raiders. Bengals over Cardinals. Seahawks over Panthers. Bucks over Dolphins, and then Jaguars over Colts. So, before messing with this Texans-Chargers game, just another look. A lot really hasn't changed. And I mean, the biggest thing is the Packers getting booted out in favor of the Lions. Now, if they win, they're in that spot. So the Lions really need some Packer losses. And if you're, okay, say the Packers beat the Ravens and the Steelers win the games they're supposed to win. Heading into Week 18, that clinches the division. That clinches the AFC North for the Steelers. So the Steelers will be hosting the playoff game. So if you're the Ravens, you got to get a win. And I think we mentioned this. You got to get a win against the Patriots and or Packers. You've got to win 2 of your next 3. Because say the Ravens win, and what that's going to do is set this game up for an AFC North showdown. This will be the AFC North division title, Week 18. And that's kind of what I want to see. I want to see this be the Ravens winning in Pittsburgh for the AFC North. Coming back to this Week 17, Texans are the better team right now. So what does that do? Changes a lot in terms of seeding. The Texans would be your 3 seed, and they would host the Jaguars. The Patriots being your 2 seed, hosting the Chargers, and then the Bills being your 5th seed. Now, again, the Bills would be the 5th seed hosting the Steelers, or hosting whoever, or going to whoever wins the AFC North. I know Dylan does not want to see this matchup again. If the Steelers make it to the playoffs and he has to see the Bills, he will not have a good day. He will not be thrilled by that at all. But that's kind of how I see this looking. And then, okay, let's get to Week 18. So Week 18, you're looking around. The Rams could lose. And where's the Seahawks game? And that does nothing. Right? The Rams would have clinched the 1 seed heading. If they win these next 2 games, they'll clinch the 1 seed. So I think ultimately the Cardinals will win this game because the Rams will be sitting their starters. They have nothing to play for. The Broncos will have something to play for. They'll be playing for that 1 seed, I'm pretty sure. So let's say hypothetically they lose, the Patriots win. No. Okay. All right. So the Broncos would be, that 1 seed will be clinched for the Broncos. Okay. So the Chargers win that game Week 18. Chiefs over Raiders. Let's keep it with the Patriots over the Dolphins. Eagles over Commanders. I have Seahawks over 49ers, though. That game. Oh, wait a minute. That's interesting. Now that's interesting. You see what I did there? So maybe they wouldn't have that clinched. I didn't even think about the 49ers. I was looking at the Seahawks. So the Seahawks, that's right, because, okay, the Rams would have beaten the Seahawks twice. Because I think they'll beat them Week 16. The 49ers could go from being the 6th seed to the 1 seed. That's crazy. Okay. So maybe the Rams do have something to play for Week 18 because they won't have that 1 seed. Wow. I did not see that one coming. 49ers, after all this, having the 1 seed. Man. Texans over the Colts. I already said the Colts aren't winning another game. Jaguars over Titans. I don't think that really does anything. It's just seeding. Which, I mean, seeding is important, but it wouldn't kick them out of the playoffs. Let's come back to that. Packers over Vikings. Okay. What if the Bears? So the Lions would have to... Oh, this is interesting. The Lions with the 3 seed after all this. and still having the 3 seed. So the Lions beat the Steelers. If the Lions win out, and does this have anything to do with the Packers? It does. So there's a scenario where the Lions and Packers make the playoffs because the Bears lost to the 49ers. See, this is why we do this. This is why it's fun. So week 17, 49ers, Bears. If the Bears win, nothing matters. It's for them. They'll have that clinched. But if they lose to the 49ers, the Packers... Wait a minute. That's even with the Packers beating the Bears. I mean, the Bears beating the Packers next week. So the Bears could beat the Packers next week. Lose to the 49ers, lose to the Lions, and they would not make the playoffs. Okay. Let's go back to the Ravens winning, and we'll stick with 49ers. Lions beating the Bears. I think the Lions beat the Bears. I think the Lions make it, ultimately. I don't know how they do, but I do think the Lions make the playoffs. Bucks win, because that game... I mean, they could rest their starters. They'll have it clinched at that point. You can see down here, Bucks before that game will be 8-8. Actually, they'd be 9-7, and Panthers will be 7-9. So the Bucks will have that clinched. Starters won't be playing. Bills over the Jets. Let's go Falcons over Saints. Bengals and Cowboys. So this is what I think, ultimately. Let's just go back and make sure I have everything checked. I think this is what I'm predicting the playoffs to look like. So what I'm predicting for the playoffs, your 1 seeds are the Broncos or the Rams in the AFC and NFC respectively. In the AFC, you have the 2 seed Patriots hosting the 7 seed Chargers, the 3 seed Texans hosting the 6 seed Jaguars, and the 4 seed Steelers hosting the 5 seed Bills. In the NFC, you have the 2 seed Eagles hosting the 7 seed Bears, the 3 seed Lions hosting the 6 seed Seahawks, and the 4 seed Bucks hosting the 5 seed 49ers. And if you're looking at these, it's like, all right, Bears should be able to beat the Eagles, I think. Seahawks, Lions should be a good game. Lions, I think, could win. Just the Seahawks have been kind of sus as of late. 49ers over the Bucks. And then Bills over the Steelers. Texans over Jags? Maybe? And then Patriots over the Chargers for your wild card weekend. So what's it going to take for the Cowboys? Because I know we have some Cowboys fans. What's it going to take if they win out? So say they beat the Chargers, they beat the Commanders, and then they beat. So them winning out, they'll need some help. So I'm assuming it's going to come from the NFC East. So that's it. The Cowboys have to win out, and the Eagles have to lose. Because I have the Eagles losing to the Bills week 17. So the Commanders need to come in clutch for the Cowboys. The Commanders need to beat the Eagles one of these 2 times. If the Cowboys, and that's what it comes down to. Let's get a score update real quick. Ooh, Vikings up 24-23 on the Cowboys. Cowboys with the ball. It's still early, the 4th quarter. This is going to be an interesting, next couple of weeks. Because there's a lot of different things that could still happen. What if the Steelers beat... The Steelers could damn well beat the Lions. I don't think they do, but you never know. What if the Ravens beat the Patriots? What if the Ravens beat the Patriots? The Bills win. So that doesn't change anything. You would need 2. Yeah, you would need another Patriots loss to either the Jets or the Dolphins. Yeah, the Patriots have the AFC East on wraps. For the Chargers, to miss the playoffs. In this scenario that's laid out right now, because I already had them losing to the Cowboys, they lose. For the Chargers, they could lose. Are you shitting me? The Chargers might as well have clinched their playoff spot if they haven't actually already, because they could lose all the way out and still make the playoffs. Now, I'm assuming they'll need some help, or something else would have to happen. So, like, that wouldn't do anything for them. Let's look at some other AFC games, some matchups, like Ravens. Ooh, actually, let's not mess with the Ravens and Steelers. See if both teams win. Oh, wait, no, they can't both win now because they play each other. So that whoever represents there's only going to be one AFC team. Let's see. What about week 17? Because, again, we're trying to see what would it take for the Chargers to miss the playoffs. And I'm not seeing a lot right now. Because, again, I have it set up for them losing all the way out. Who could win? Let's look down here. Alright, we're going to clear this. We're going to restart. Chargers lose. Chargers lose. Chargers lose. Who's on the cusp? So you have the Chargers are currently 10-4. It'd have to be the Colts, right? It'd have to be the Colts finding a way to win out. Yeah, it'd have to be the Colts. So are you telling me? I'm pretty sure that's what it looks like. It looks like, say, Colts win out, but the Chargers. Got it. So for the Colts, they essentially need the Chargers to lose out and for them to win out. They're not eliminated from the playoffs yet, but they might as well be. Like the Chargers haven't clinched their spot yet, but they might as well have clinched it. That's a lot of interesting stuff. Now, again, the way it looks right now, I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled with this current playoff look. So that was just a little fun exercise playing with the machine. That playoff machine. I enjoy messing with the playoff machine, but if we're going back to look at like some of these Week 15 games, I thought the Lions had it for a second, but that was a very high scoring game. 41-34 was a final there for the for the Rams over the Lions. 17 third quarter points was pivotal for them. The Rams rallied back. Matthew Stafford, what did he get against his former team? Stafford had 368 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs didn't do anything for fantasy owners, but Amon-Ra St. Brown, 13 catches, 164 yards, and 2 tutties for him. I already mentioned the Saints getting a 2017 win over the Panthers on a game-winning kick. The Broncos, 34-26, and they are the first team, the Broncos, to stamp their playoff ticket. Bo Nix had 4 touchdown passes against the Packers, 302 yards. Cortland Sutton, 7 catches, 113 yards, and 1 touchdown for him. For the 49ers, they gave up 24 points to the Titans, which, baby steps, right? Cam Ward, 8 of 29, 2 touchdowns, only 170 yards, but still 2 touchdowns. Pollard, 104 yards on the ground. Well, really, the difference was Purdy having 3 tutties. Purdy, 23 of 30, very efficient day for him, 295 yards. Ricky Pearsall, 6 catches, 96. George Kittle, 8 for 88 and 1 touchdown. Colts lose. Philip Rivers, his final stat line, 18 of 27, 120 yards, a touchdown, a pick, and was sacked once. Taylor had 87 yards rushing. For the Seahawks, Sam was 22 of 36, 271 yards, no touchdowns. It was all field goals. All field goals for the Seahawks as they win 18-16. Chargers, man, Mahomes tearing his ACL is a big story out of this one. But the Chargers getting a much-needed win for them and eliminating the Chiefs from the playoffs, 16-13. The Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence had 6 total touchdowns he accounted for. 6 against the Jets. 48-20 is the final. Already talked about Patriots and the Bills. Bills getting a 35-31 win. Texans 40-20 win against the Cardinals. CJ Stroud has now led the Texans to their 6th straight win. And he had a good day. 3 touchdowns for him. Jahar Jordan. Never heard of him before, but he had 101 yards today on the ground for the Texans. The Ravens shutting out the Bengals 24-0. The Bears. I thought Shador, there was a couple times this game showed up on red zone, and Shador had some nice passes, but like there was one pick that Jerry Jeudy just dropped. There was a couple, he wasn't getting a lot of help. There's a reason they lost 31-3, and there was a dot by Caleb Williams. Bears might be legit, man. Eagles also put up 31 points. They allowed 0 to the Raiders, and a get-right game for them. Commanders hold off the Giants 29-21, and right now, the Vikings are up 31-23 against the Dallas Cowboys. Still 9 minutes to go, so we'll see what the final ends up being there. And I think that's going to wrap it up here for your Monday morning drive this morning. Thanks for tuning in. I know it's a little bit different than what I normally do, but still hope you enjoyed this episode. Please check us out. We are on TikTok, YouTube. Check out our YouTube shorts, wherever you get your podcasts. We're going to have more content later on this week. We'll talk specifically about the Week 16 games. We'll probably do a little bit more with the playoff machine, talk more playoff scenarios and team stuff. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up this morning. Make sure, as I always say, we're anywhere and everywhere, all at Party Chat Sports. So until next time, peace. Also, thank you, Cena.